fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do, that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do, that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
What is up, my friends, and welcome to the semifinals here at NECC Overwatch. My name is Jeff. I'm here alongside Classy, and well, we've got a great match to start things off here. We're going to head to the Challengers Yellow Division, decide who's going to move on to the Grand Finals next week.
Exactly, so we are, and let's take a look at the bracket of the Challengers Yellow Division. Currently, there's only 4 teams left, CCE Blue and Thomas, who we are going to be seeing just in a little bit. But on the other side, we also have the SNHU Penman and Valpo Shield. So going to be a fun one to see who gets there next week, when, of course, the grand finals are of Challengers Yellow, as well as all the other divisions. But for today, sticking with those semifinals, Will Skunk.
Yeah, it's interesting. We actually got our 1 through 4 seeds end up being our 4 teams remaining. Doesn't often work out that way. You typically see one underdog push through and kind of upset the bracket a little bit. But so far, the script is on point here in the Challengers Yellow Division. We are going to be focusing in on that CCE Blue versus Thomas game today. So number 2 versus number 3. Last time these two teams met up was in Week 9. So the final game of the regular season, CCE Blue took that in a 3-0.
It wasn't data 3-0, it was not on stream, so we don't have the full data on what happened in every map and how close it was, because sometimes a 3-0 is not really, you know, an actual 3-0. It was like it could have been a 3-2, but it wasn't. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we were watching a little bit of CCE Blue earlier against, I think it was against RPIB, which was the week before that. Mm-hmm. They were playing very well at that stage. I think there's a lot of good stuff they were showing, which also left them open with potentially some weaknesses that Thomas could explore, since they would have been able to watch a VOD. CCE Blue hasn't been able to watch a Thomas VOD because Thomas Esports hasn't really had a game on stream. So that prep might have actually helped them out. On paper, when you look at it, it does mean that CCE Blue should be able to win this. But, you know, it's NECC, it's collegiate Overwatch. Upsets happen all the time.
Exactly. And I, for one, love a good upset. Who doesn't love a good underdog story? But these teams are very close. Let's go ahead and pull up our lineups here. And we'll take a look at our starters, start things off. It's going to be CCE Blue, start things off. Champlain College coming in with an 8-1 record. And the player that really stood out to me was Mercy, who, well, ironically played nothing but Genji in the match that we saw and did an extremely good job of it. Was absolutely lethal on the Genji, even in spots where you thought maybe this wasn't ideal. Nevertheless, Mercy able to make it work and get a lot of work done. Another one to keep an eye on is going to be Bobo XXL. May swap out with Herbie if they decide to bring in the Tracer, but right now it looks like we'll have Bobo in for control.
Exactly, and then Rick Pig and Haas were doing a fairly good job on that tank duo. Switched up a lot of like what type of tank duo they played in terms of which heroes were coming on it. But in general, just a lineup that worked really well and sort of, I mean, I wouldn't say they were anchored around Mercy on that Genji, but definitely a very core player that they knew how to play around to a degree at least. But they also have opponents today. It's not like we just have to talk about CCE Blue. We also have Thomas Esports on the other side, coming in here with Jay Gibby, Cargo Tokens, Red, Cool Shelf, Bookshelf. Wow. Pranksters and Spoiled Milk. They do have a couple of subs potentially on the bench as well. You still have Only Grab and Breezy sitting there, as well as Valkyrie. So cool lineup to start with, at least. Like I said, don't really have a lot of footage from them, so you don't really know what they're going to be playing and who to look out for. But it's going to be a safe bet that at least they are going to be skilled to a degree, because of course they are here in the semifinals. So, you know, you would expect them to be able to play some Overwatch.
I mean, it went 7-2 in the regular season, so I mean, had a spectacular season. Versus CCE's 8-1, so pretty close. I mean, number 2 and number 3 seeds, as we mentioned earlier. And I'm going to be keeping my eye on Jay Gibby and Bookshelf. These are going to be your 2 DPS players here for Thomas Esports. So trying to keep up with Herbie, Bobo, and of course Mercy, as we mentioned earlier, the Genji specialist. I think they've got their work cut out for them. And as we head into control, that DPS line is where my eyes are going to be drawn, at least to start.
Yeah, and of course, no, we're talking about control, the first map. The entire map season, we've been working with all these preset maps, right? So you know exactly which maps are coming up. This time around, in the playoffs, we're doing it a bit differently. So CCE Blue got to pick this map after Thomas Esports banned out a map. So Nepal will not be playable for the rest of this series. We're going to be starting on Oasis, of all things. And that means that in the coming maps that we have after this, we're going to have the same map type order that we've had all season. But there will be a ban and a pick every single time. So we're going to see what comes out of that as we move on through the series. It's going to be a 1-3, so whoever gets that first 3-map win will be able to come out victorious in this series and move over to the grand finals. Starting on those on the first of those at least 3 maps, it's going to be Oasis.
A beautiful map as we get a little tour here of the outside. A great map, both strategically and aesthetically. It's a good map design, and we won't necessarily start here on City Center. Cinematics not necessarily indicative of our first sub-map.
They are.
We did see a lot of
the University first, actually.
It is University first. Nice. And this was going to lead into my point quite well, as a matter of fact. We saw a lot of Winston-based compositions and a little bit of the Sigma Roadhog out of Champlain College when we saw them last. But University is a prime place for them to show off some of their Reinhardt skills.
Yeah, it has to be that way. Unfortunately, Winston not the most prime hero to play here just because of the lack of space that you have to work with. We're going to be seeing Mercy starting out here on the Symmetra and then moving over to the Mei just to get them out of spawn quicker. And really just almost a mirror. The only real difference is that Cassidy versus the Reaper.
Yeah, Mercy's gone off the Sim initially, so it's up to Thomas to try to get that Reaper in close. They're trying to use small room to do that right now. Steven Reinhardt paving the way, but here comes CCE Blue. They're going to get aggressive. Nice wall has got Haas in a dangerous position. Bobo is actually the first to fall. Wall up, try to block Cargo Token. It's frozen. Here comes the Ray with the shield, protect him, and Haas has gone down trying to go through the other door. Now Thomas emerged from the small room to come reclaim the objective. Briefly picked up by CCE Blue, but looking like it's going to flip right back over.
You can just tell that with this map being so enclosed as it is, going into an even smaller room and then playing with that Mei, you just really reduce the avenues that you have to protect but also get to attack through. The team that gets into that hallway and controls it just had the better fight there in a lot of ways. They can see it, can't necessarily see it back in the ult charge, but you can see it in the way that they were able to focus fire in those openings.
Yeah, a lot of that's just the pick from Pranksters. A-Matrix coming up. Right, moving forward, looking for a chance to drop the Shatter. Has the pin onto the ride, so there's nothing to block it at this point. Looking for the rotation as CCE Blue just back off and wait for that respawn of the Reinhardt.
Quick fight, nothing too complicated, just a Mei wall play. which is something we've been seeing a lot in NECC, actually. Like, a lot more Mei play has been coming out, and it's been really fun to watch. Problem is, if there's one Mei that doesn't really know how to place the walls and the other team does, you're really quickly getting into a weird situation.
Oh, Self-Destruct can go over the wall. There's no shield back there. Spoiled Milk's gonna go down 85%, and that means there's no sound barrier for this Blizzard or any of the other ults that were poured in by CCE Blue. And another fast fight. This one going in CCE's favor.
Yeah, and talking about those walls, that was a prime example of to which team was putting up a better wall there. I mean, the wall from Bookshelf wasn't bad. It was just very early, and there was no one trapped by it. That means that they just speed through the other side with that Lucio, put up the wall of their own, splitting off the defending team, and they get value. Even without the self-destruct, they would have done great.
Well, we got Thomas Esports coming up on a couple ults, and Self-Destruct tossed in first. Riot's still holding this Shatter, but it's Haas who drops theirs first, does eventually trade out, and then it's 2 gone from both sides. But CCE Blue are missing their Rhine, and they're missing their Baptiste, so it's going to be exceedingly difficult for them to hold on to this. Poor Rigpig just barely gets out of their Pilot Diva with 1 speck of health. Cargo Targets is going to chase them down. Bobo opting to just back out, and okay, then decides to go into the last second to try to contest, doesn't quite get there in time.
I think they were waiting for the Lucio and the Reinhardt, and they did eventually manage to engage, just like you said, a little bit late. That guy potentially gets thrown back into spawn. You got to be careful with that health, and then you drop down, no shield for your Baptiste. Ooh, bit of a spooky play there from the Reinhardt with Riot, but they are able to retreat just without their Baptiste now.
Yeah, Pranksters and Cargo, but took a lot of damage as well. Pranksters looking for some place to drop this Death Blossom Sound Barrier out. That's the ticket. Drop it in. There comes the tornado, and he gets stunned out immediately. Bobo all over that with the flashbang. Now the Ant Matrix up in the back for Bobo to shoot through. Shatter comes down from Riot, but Mercy's got a Blizzard on the field, and nobody has anywhere to run. No respite for Thomas Esports, and the flip comes through.
Flip comes through indeed. Only about 1.5 fights for them to really win, and then they could potentially run away with this round. But Thomas Esports in a very good position still. Got at least a couple engages going their way. They got some ults on the board, which are not present currently on CCE Blue's side. Shatter and High Noon is really what they're going to have to work with. But a Blizzard, well-placed Blizzard, is pretty much fight-winning in these situations.
And Rigpig is not in mech, which is really important right now, and that's going to come out quickly. The Shatter finds 4, though! What a counter that Blizzard, but Haas gets frozen up mid-pin! Riot seizes the opportunity, now pushing in onto this objective, but it's still a +1. Make that a +2 to CCE Blue, as they are picking up the slack in absence of their German Crusader. Bobox with a nice flash fan. Now it's just a lone Reaper forced on point by that overtime. Doesn't last long, trying to keep it going, but the inevitable of CCE Blue taking round 1 will soon come to fruition. Staggers keep coming on to point 1 at a time. Thomas Esports, of course, giving it their all. Even managed to get one with a self-destruct. Okay, trying to bring this thing back, but now Mercy's got this Blizzard onto the objective, and that will seal the deal. 100-88, CCE Blue coming out with this first victory.
Almost got scary there. Spoiled Milk doing a little bit of stalling of the Lucio. Mei coming back in, Diva coming back in. It's a fun one, you know. But only 1 round done on Control. Still at least 1 more to go, maybe even 2. And as Oasis as the first map, you know, I'm all for it. I really want to see what's going to happen next. This is going to be Gardens, if I'm not mistaken. It is.
Yes, it is.
It is, and that is going to be immediately the swap up that we can see here from CCE Blue. We talked a little bit before about how they were doing the Sigma Roadhog, and now it's coming out. It's going to happen, but Mercy's going to be on the Pharah, not on the Genji just yet.
I bet you were good at those games where they show you a picture of the map. It's like all zoomed in, and you have to guess the map.
I'm amazing at them.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Classy. No. Mercy pulling out a bit of different look. We haven't seen Mercy on the Pharah from our research here on stream. And, you know, could rain down some rockets. It's a great map for Pharah with all of the hiding spots, you know, granted by this elevated wall that surrounds the objective. Thomas Esports have moved on to the high ground of their own, trying to give room for Bookshelf to work on this Soldier 76, but a nice concussion blast knocks him down to the low ground. Could put him right where they want him as CCE Blue continue to just poke away.
It's a good poke comp in this situation. Just the problem is how they're actually going to engage. They need to get a little bit closer for at least a hook to hit, maybe an accretion. Trying to get that Lucio Spoiled Milk. Doesn't quite get it, though, and now Mercy's in a bit of trouble. Low to the ground. Not where you want to be as a Pharah. Able to boost back up and eventually get up some more eliminations.
Yeah, Bobo coming in through with a nice shot as well. Mercy doing some work on the back end of this fight, and, well, slowly but surely, the poke comp works out for CCE Blue. They give up 17%, but now they own this objective.
So the funny part about this composition is that it doesn't seem like it should work. Like on paper, when you think about your own quick play games, about your rank games, etc., this is not something you will run with a lot. The DPS, those are fine. And then you have like the Mercy with it makes sense. But then Zen doesn't really provide a lot of extra healing, so you can't go in the thick of it, you can't brawl. And they have Roadhog and Sigma, which are a little bit of an odd combo. But if you think about it, it works. And we're going to see why.
Over the top, Barrage is ready to go. Nice! Conk into it direct! Beautiful shot from Mercy. It may not even need this. Barrage gets stunned up, got the flashbang out. Hey, and if I'm the far in that situation, I feel free to press Q, but you know what? They clean it up in the neutral. No ults necessary.
Yeah, I mean, that fight showed exactly why this comp works, right? We're calling this not just poke, it's disruption poke. Because they're constantly like, there's a hook, and there's an accretion, and then there's a concussion blast. Oh, there's a flashbang that's still around, and all of a sudden you get volleyed by a Zenyatta. Like, there's so much happening constantly to you that kind of feels, I would say random, but it feels like it's purposely created chaos that just really adds on to the amount of poke they can do, but also the amount of eliminations they can set up. Like these solo picks, the accretions, the hooks, and just far dunk in on somebody.
And now they've got a bevy of ults to work with because of it, because they've been so disciplined, and it's going to be the Gravitic Flux to start things off. Deadeye to follow it up, and ooh, Mercy trying to capitalize on that disruption, but Bookshelf able to pop the tack visor after finishing off the Pharah. Now push it onto the objective. Had a bit of an Ant Matrix to work with, and that was enough to help take Haas down. +2 over to Thomas Esports as they move on to this objective. Bobo trying to pepper him down, but Thomas Esports will not be denied as they move all the way across, find that kill onto the Zenyatta, get that pesky monk out of the fight. Bookshelf finds themselves another one. Rigpig just has to hurl themselves onto the objective to try to stall it out, but it's a little too late. The flip's already come through.
Are they going to get that Sigma? That took a really long time, and they've actually lost 1 or 2 members in the meantime. But you're talking about a triple hit scan team now. You got the Cassidy, the Soldier, as well as the Baptiste. And of course, Sigma and Roadhog aren't strangers to looking at a Pharah every now and then. So it's going to be harder and harder for Mercy to do their job. Not impossible, mind you, but just harder. But because they've gone for almost more of a mirror style right now with more healing, it's going to be a tricky thing for CCE Blue to take this down because they won't have as much burst effectiveness as they had before.
And they're choosing to go through small room with the pharmacy duo, kind of up over the top. 2 tanks moving up to the high ground. Nice shot from Java Chop. That's how you open things up. But now you got the tank position up high. Ooh, Bobo goes down in a heap. Here comes the Gravitic Flux to start things off. Rigpig doing a good job to get that online and finds a pair of kills with it. Rigpig opening this thing up. Well, we're really just closing it out would probably be a better way to say that. And there's something you don't see every day, Classy.
Yeah, not something you see happening every day, but it did happen in this situation. Won't really matter that much anymore, though. It was kind of pretty much already over. But
I mean, they were both already dead if you get a double flashbang kill, but it's still kind of awesome.
Yeah, and it's cool. You know, it's one of those things is disappearing soon. Unfortunately, well, not really, sort of. It actually might become more relevant than before because of the new grenade. But that being said, we are going to be looking here at the play of the game from the Sigma. Rigpig doing a really good job on that Sigma. It was very hard to kill as well. But what really this map showed most of all is that Thomas Esports knows how to adapt. They know how to go to like something else and deal with what CCE Blue is throwing at them. It's just that Control doesn't provide you with enough time to really deal with something like this, right? It doesn't provide you with the opportunity to switch around a lot. And even when they switched, which was effective, I think that switch was good. It started out the map on it, they might have won it. They don't have the time to build up that same ult rotation that CCE Blue is already working with. So unfortunately, it's just the map type doesn't really support the ability to adapt. But luckily, we won't be seeing Control for a good while. So before we get back to that, they have plenty of time to win some other maps, starting with the next one.
Well, with any luck, we get to see it again, just because I love a good 5-map series. But in the here and now, Hybrid will be coming up next. So Thomas Esports will get to pick, but not before CCE gets to ban one out. So they can eliminate something in a game type, or a map that favors a composition that CCE Blue may not be, proficient at. So they have that opportunity to kind of control the battlefield a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like they're not a definitive, for instance, like definitive Kings Row team. I don't think that's like necessarily their preferred style. I don't think they love a map like that. But any other control map, historic hybrid map, they should be pretty happy on. Like maybe Iconwall would be the next one I would look at them. But even though you see the Fire just now played, might still be fine with that. So, you know, we'll see what they go for. I think we're gonna get the call pretty soon. The ban is actually going to be Hollywood, and they're picking Kings Row.
Ooh.
So they're going to go for
Interesting.
comfort because everyone loves Kings Row. So comfort for everybody. And with the May play they had on University, it's not unreasonable. I mean, it works, right?
It does. I mean, and University was relatively close. There was definitely a bit of back and forth. It wasn't 100-0. So, I mean, not a bad pick for Thomas Esports. We'll see if they can make it happen. Now, I think there's still room for Mercy to bring that far back out as well, though.
Yeah, there's definitely an opportunity for that. It's doable. I would say more so on attack than on defense, honestly, just because of the
Agreed.
virtue of the map and the sight lines. But it's an interesting one. We've seen it work in the past. It just kind of makes it necessary to be a bit more aggressive as a team. You almost want to have a dive with that, just so you can immediately put pressure on the front and the back line at the same time, and the Fire doesn't get to just be shot out of the sky by hit scan. Yeah, we'll see what they actually end up doing when we go into the map.
And interesting note, because you're talking about the adaptability, the adaptations coming out of Thomas Esport, and they had the film. They had footage they could go back to. I mean, as recent as week 8 to check out what CCE Blue are running and what their tendencies were. So far, they haven't shown any of the same thing. They used the same tank line.
Yeah.
Once with the Roadhog and the Sigma.
Yeah.
But past the Sigma Hog, they look completely different than the last time we saw them on stream. So I'm really curious if that continues. Now, we are getting a sub that was similar to what we saw before.
Yeah.
So Bobo, the hit scan specialist, coming out. We're going to have Herbie into the match. Last time, this indicated that Herbie ended up playing a lot of Tracer, and then Mercy picked up the Genji, which I know is ironic. The player Mercy played the hero Genji, just to clarify. But I'm curious if CCE Blue are going to run the same playbook.
I'm curious too, and they're going to have some time to figure that out, some time to look at that, because we're going to throw it to a very quick break while we set up the next map, and we'll be right back.